What if I told you some plants actually thrive when the heat becomes unbearable? While our lettuces wilt and tomatoes struggle, there's a group of crops that welcome the warmth. These aren't modern inventions, but the legacy of centuries, plants that have survived the world's harshest climates long before greenhouses or sprinklers. In our quest for perfect produce, we've forgotten the wisdom of the past. Resilience comes from adaptability. Modern crops are bred for comfort, perfect irrigation, stable temperatures, controlled conditions. But that's not reality anymore. Heat stress is now one of the biggest threats to global food production. Many modern varieties can't handle it. But ancient crops? They were built for survival. So what are these crops that thrive when everything else fails? If you want to grow food, even when the weather turns against you, subscribe now. The future of gardening may look very different from the past. Let's begin with Roselle hibiscus. In the heart of summer, when everything else droops, Roselle stands tall, its deep red calices swelling with promise. Originating from Africa and Southeast Asia, it relishes the sun's intensity and survives on little water. The calices can be made into tangy teas, jams, and syrups, refreshing, tart, and packed with vitamin C. Roselle doesn't demand rich soil or constant attention. Give it warmth and sun, and let it be. When the rest of the garden gasps, Roselle simply blooms brighter. If you're tired of pouring water into parched beds, consider Roselle, built for the heat. Sometimes, the most beautiful things are those that endure. Next, we have amaranth, a relic of ancient civilizations. Amaranth thrives where others falter, its leaves shimmering in the heat, unbothered by drought or poor soil. Both its leaves and seeds are edible, loaded with protein, iron, and calcium. Amaranth grain is a superfood, while the leaves can be steamed or tossed in salads. I've seen it grow in the cracks between paving stones, where even weeds surrender. If you've ever lamented poor soil or unpredictable rain, amaranth is your answer. Ancient, adaptable, and deeply nourishing. Let's talk about millet, one of the oldest cultivated grains. Millet grows fast, from seed to harvest in under 2 months, making it invaluable when rains are short and the sun is relentless. Its deep roots pull water from where others can't, and it keeps producing, even on the edge of neglect. Millet is nutritious, rich in magnesium and B vitamins. But for the gardener, its real gift is dependability. When the weather is erratic, millet carries on. In a world where drought is becoming the rule, millet endures. Meet the tepary bean, born in the deserts of the American Southwest and Mexico. Tepary beans set pods when others stop flowering, producing a crop from just a single rainfall. Their leaves close in the midday sun, reducing water loss, a clever adaptation. Indigenous peoples have relied on tepary beans for centuries. They're packed with protein, fiber, and minerals. If you're gardening in a tough spot, tepary beans will be your steadfast companion. They ask for little and give back so much. Sorghum is known as the drought king in Africa and Asia. It thrives where corn falters. Through weeks of dry weather, its blue-green leaves stay upright and strong. Sorghum is incredibly water efficient, with deep roots and waxy leaves that conserve moisture. Even after a season of drought, sorghum provides grain, syrup, or fodder. In the garden, it's a statement piece. In the kitchen, a versatile ingredient. In a warming world, crops like sorghum are essential for the gardens of the future. Sweet potatoes are a gift to any garden, especially when the mercury rises. Their lush vines shade the soil and conserve moisture, while their roots quietly swell beneath the surface. You can eat both the roots and the leaves. Tender, vitamin-packed, and delicious. Sweet potatoes are forgiving, happy in poor soil, tolerant of dry spells, and productive long after others have finished. If you want a crop that delivers twice the harvest and shrugs off the heat, sweet potatoes are the answer. Moringa is called the miracle tree for good reason. It shoots up quickly, even in poor sandy soils, and withstands searing heat with ease. The leaves are among the most nutritious you can eat, and the pods are a staple in South Asian cuisine. Even the seeds can purify water. Moringa grows where others won't, providing shade, food, and improving the soil. If you want a perennial source of food and resilience, moringa is a living insurance policy. Yard-long beans are a marvel in the summer garden. While common beans sulk in the heat, yard-long beans surge upward, their vines stretching skyward. Their slender pods can reach over half a meter long, tender even in the hottest weather. Pick them daily, and they seem to grow overnight. If you want a heat-proof vegetable that gives back to your soil, yard-long beans are essential. Cowpeas, or black-eyed peas, are a staple across Africa, Asia, and the American South. They produce reliably in extreme heat and poor soils, setting pods when other beans falter. Like yard-long beans, they fix nitrogen, enriching the ground for crops yet to come. Fast-growing with deep roots that make the most of scant rainfall. Fresh peas for salads, dried beans for winter, and improved soil for future harvests. If you value reliability, nutrition, and soil health, cowpeas are hard to beat. Malabar spinach isn't a true spinach, but in the heat of summer, you wouldn't want anything else. Where true spinach bolts and withers, Malabar spinach takes off, lush, glossy, and eager to climb. Its succulent leaves are mild and slightly peppery, perfect for salads, soups, or stir-fries. It tolerates poor soil, needs little watering, and keeps growing until frost. Delicious greens don't have to disappear when the heat arrives. They just need to be the right kind. Armenian cucumber is technically a melon, but tastes like a crisp cucumber, and doesn't turn bitter in the heat. Where true cucumbers stall, Armenian cucumbers keep producing, sweet and refreshing. Their roots reach deep, and their sprawling habit shades the soil, conserving moisture. Even during the hottest spells, Armenian cucumbers stay tender and juicy. They're prolific. One plant can supply a family for weeks. If you crave cucumbers in midsummer, give the Armenian cucumber a try. Finally, we arrive at okra, the undisputed champion of hot weather gardening. The hotter it gets, the more okra thrives. Its tough stems and broad leaves seem to draw strength from the sun's intensity. As soon as the nights warm, it rockets upwards, sending out edible pods almost daily. Okra shrugs off pests, tolerates poor soils, and keeps going when other vegetables quit. In many places, okra is the last crop standing at summer's end. If you want a true test of heat resilience in your garden, okra is where you'll find it. If these crops are so resilient, why aren't they everywhere? The answer is simple. Modern agriculture is built for uniformity, not resilience. Large-scale systems need predictable crops and market familiarity. These ancient crops are diverse, adaptable, and sometimes unfamiliar, but that's exactly what makes them powerful. You don't need all 12. Start simple. Choose 2 or 3 crops that match your climate. Mix them into your garden and watch what survives when others struggle. Resilience is built through diversity. You don't future-proof your garden by fighting the heat, but by growing plants that were never afraid of it. Sometimes the answer is not to resist change, but to embrace the plants that already know how to thrive.